Scott, this is a very difficult subject to bring up, but it was brought up to me in front of my husband with a top doctor out of Boston. And he said hospice could euthanize because my husband did not want to live the way he's living. His quality of life was impaired. And I sat there in a shocked state. But then I read that Dr. Scott Peck wrote Denial of the Soul, Spiritual and Medical Perspective of Euthanasia and Mortality. And in the book, he said that we are denying ourselves our life if we euthanize, and that we should go through the whole experience of birth to death, and that death is its own process. And I thought he's against euthanasia. And he is a medical doctor out of Harvard, and he's also a theist. So I thought that was a very good way of putting euthanasia, because when our dogs are suffering or our cat, we say that we're helping them.
Right.
But I never knew that we talked about it for human beings other than Dr. Kevorkian.
Right.
And I know that Oregon, I think you can go with a physician-assisted. But you take the Hippocratic Oath. And so there's a real dilemma there.
Yes.
And how does hospice handle that? It's a tough subject.
It is. It is a very difficult subject, and I think it's one of those ones that every individual has a feeling about it, but it makes you address your own mortality in your own ways. But the theory, I really like what this doctor presented on its philosophy, because end of life is, and the dying process is a process of life, and it shouldn't be regarded any different than childbirth, or just as important as childbirth. So it is its own process, and it's an amazing process. And one of the reasons why I do this work is every death is unique, and unique towards that individual with their own whole life spans worth of experience ending, and it's amazing. However, the thought or the theory or the philosophy of euthanasia, we, as a hospice nurse, tippy-toe around that line every day. Physician-assisted suicide is not legal in New Hampshire, though it's been brought to the legislature once or twice, I believe. I know it's been up at least once. I've had discussions with doctors, hospice doctors, and doing the right thing. When you have a patient who's riddled with cancer and dying of cancer and fully aware of it and in the most excruciating pain, and there's not enough medicine in the day to take care of that, and watch somebody suffer through that, where does the line of compassion get drawn? Do we, I've had a patient ask me, what's it going to take to make me go to sleep? And as a nurse, we're trained to help and be compassionate, and that does touch as a nurse's heartstrings. But is it, we talk about quality of life. Is it quality of life to lay there for 12 hours and suffer in excruciating pain? Either. So what inevitably happens, we start working with the medications, we get the patient comfortable enough for the body to complete its own process and pass. And to go back to one of the misconceptions, they associate hospice with morphine, and morphine's it's a miracle drug, and I've seen it help many patients, but a lot of people have the misconception that it's what's going to kill somebody. When we start morphine in hospice, that's the end. And typically it's always the end. Somebody's dying, and we use morphine so they can be comfortable and let the body do what they want. So is that considered euthanasia? Do we giving enough morphine to get them out of discomfort, and all of a sudden they pass away? I don't know. I'm just here to do my job. I think everybody's death is in somebody else's or other powers' hands. And I just hope that I can help. You know, some people may look at that as euthanasia. I know if it's my time and I had the opportunity to be on hospice, I think that's why I'm doing this work. Is I just hope that, you know, I get treated so that I can have a peaceful, dignified passing experience.